Hello, this is the Urban Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. So, my social media links will be provided along with Substack, my email, and buy me a coffee. You support my work. You want to support my work, that is. You appreciate my work. Click that link and support. Audio platforms, I'm on Audible, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and I'm looking to grow to wherever you enjoy your podcast. I'm definitely on that. So this episode is about Odetta. So I'm going to break down where in this episode I talk about background and I give my thoughts, and then in the next episode on Wednesday I'm going to talk about a little bit more of a background, and then also give artists that I think relate to her type of style of music and the reasons behind why I think that. And then on Friday, I'm going to wrap it up by talking about her work in detail. All right. Her music, that is, in detail. All right, so let's dive in. Okay, so I think Odetta, what she did with her music, and I think it also reflects to her how she views things personally. I don't think those things are too far from each other to be infused in her style of music, that you can have a stand against something, but at the same time not let that be the driving force behind what you do professionally. So, for example, she was forefront and she did everything she could, and she was a part of the change and making things better as far as race relations, particularly with blacks in the black community, and in relations with equal rights and everything else, and prosperity in the black community, and as far as civil rights is concerned. She was able to separate that with her music. Her music was professional and widely known, and I'm going to go into more details about that and everything else about her music. And whenever she produced a song, I say producer, how she writes a song and then performs, and she delved in and methodically mastered her ways of crafting the sound of what she wanted to showcase in her music. For example, she infused jazz. And infusing jazz, I think that's a very soothing way to relate creatively to speak and address on things that are, particularly in folk music, particularly in which she's talking about things from some of her songs that are sad in nature, as far as love and far as understanding of others. It helps, I think, adding that jazz element into her body of work along the lines of what she did as her performing with the guitar, and that helps to emphasize the comfort within saying that the trials and tribulations that go on, that humans face, are harsh, but there is a way out of them. And also, I think it brings more of an intellectual element to what she's talking about. Okay, I'll take care of it. And sorry about that, my babies. And I think it drives home also the understanding that you can have your thoughts and your opinion about a world around you, and you can be proactive in different movements, whether it be politically, intellectually, and so on and so forth, without being, the corner phrase, preachy. And I think if you get to the point where you understand that you can stand for a cause, but you don't have to force it or that be a part of your whole identity, that proves... That's okay, Katie. Hold on. That proves the point that I think, from my point of view, that you actually care about what you're doing. It's not all of a gimmick, and you're not trying to cash in on it per se, maybe. Without meaning cash in on it. It's not it's a genuine move to do these things. Katie, hold on. Quit talking to her like that. You don't do that, okay? Just stop, Katie. I mean it. Stop. And sorry about that. And it holds that you want to actually change instead of be a part of the issue of the problem, or be continuing along the lines of not wanting to break the status quo, even though you're saying you want to. And that's really a testament to the type of character she had. And it's really something to definitely think about as I go in and talk about her background and her music, and then relay that back to artists, I think, and relate all these things to. All right, so let's dive in. Odetta was an American folk singer who was noted especially for her versions of spirituals, and who became, for many, the voice of the civil rights movement of the early 1960s. After her father's death in 1937, Odetta moved with her mother to Los Angeles. She began classical voice training at age 13, and she earned her degree in classical music from Los Angeles City College. Though she had heard the music of the Deep South as a child, it was not until 1950, on a trip to San Francisco, that she began to appreciate and participate in the immigrant folk scene. She soon learned to play the guitar and began to perform traditional songs. Her distinctive blend of folk, blues, ballads, and spiritual was powered by her rich vocal style, wide range, and deep passion. Within a few years, her career took off. In the early 1950s, she moved to New York City, where she met singers Peter Seeger and Harry Belafonte, who became loyal supporters. Four times during 1959 through 65, she subsequently appeared on television in several films. In the late 1950s and in the early 60s, Odetta continued to record as a leading folk musician, although recordings did not do justice to her performances. Her music and her politics suited the growing civil rights movement in 1963. She sang at the historic March on Washington, led by Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. Inevitably, as the movement warned and interest in folk music declined, Odetta following shrank, although she continued to perform. In 1999, former President Bill Clinton awarded her the National Medal of Arts, the highest award given in the arts in the United States. And in 2003, she was named a living legend by the Library of Congress. All right, so this reaches the end of the Harboring Light. And on Wednesday, I'm going to go into more depth about her background. As far as I'm going to emphasize her viewpoint of how she melded herself and saw her path within folk music. And I'm going to give more details about that, along with, as I was saying, with other artists I think relay in the same realms of how her representation, how she presented music, and then how those things differ, but they relate. All right, so questions, comments, concerns, feedback is greatly appreciated. Reach out to me through email, social media, Substack, and don't feel free to do that. Don't hesitate. That is. All right. Tune in, turn up, and definitely take care. Bye-bye now. So, tune in on Wednesday. Take care.